Who are you?
My name is Henry Rollins.
Henry, I think I know you.
Oh, I see. You're a character now.
And do you realize that Ron Reyes lives in Vancouver?
Yes.
Or, one of the original Black Flag singers like yourself, and he's a born-again Christian.
Well, we all end up something.
But I thought that's kind of neat. All sins forgotten and Ron Reyes, and you're in Vancouver, BC.
You know, the way you can put it all together like that is just amazing, because I never would have been able to piece it together like that.
Well, Henry, also, you were in the movie Johnny Nuh.
Johnny Nuh.
Johnny Mnemonic, written by William Gibson, a Canadian, who lives in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Right.
And in that movie, what did you play?
I played a scientist.
And what are you playing in this particular production?
Scientist.
And what have you played also? You've also played it's either a cop or a scientist, isn't it? A scientist or doctor, a lot of the roles?
Cops and scientists and thugs.
Why do you think people think that you hate Vancouver or Winnipeg? People think that you hate Vancouver or Winnipeg.
Oh, because I used to very much. Because I would come here and you guys would be a shitty, spitting, heroin shooting, equipment stealing audience who we weren't allowed to kill. So after I got out of Black Flag and I didn't have to come here anymore, when I became the boss of the system, I stopped coming here so I didn't have to get spat on and have my equipment ripped off by idiotic punk rock junkies. So I gave the city about 7 years to cool off and came back and found it to be a very wonderful place.
So it's no longer Drunkville to you?
No.
And Henry, Winnipeg, did you hate Winnipeg as well?
Yeah, because the promoter ripped us off and we actually had to go to his house to get paid, and also some of our equipment got ripped off, and at one point someone poured a beer into our soundboard.
It was cool though, 2 7-Elevens across the street. You wrote about that in Spin, I'll never forget that. Like in Edmonton, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great. How many more questions do you have?
Oh, just a few. Henry, you have a brand new record out here.
You have to hurry.
You have a brand new record here.
Really boring.
You have a brand new record here called War. You do a version of War.
Uh-huh.
Now, who else does War?
With me on the track?
Well, DOA also do War, Vancouverites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the song War, Chuck Biscuits, being from Vancouver, there's legend that he played in DOA, Circle Jerks, and Black Flag in one night. Do you ever remember that happening, like playing in all 3 bands, Chuck doing that?
Not to my experience, no.
What about Victoria? Do you remember playing Victoria?
Sure.
What do you remember about Victoria? My friend has a great picture of you playing there, or putting your finger to your head.
I remember it being really nice. And the best time was when we played with No Means No.
Would you ever consider putting Chicks Dig It Up? They have that song, Henry Rollins is No Fun. More Canadian content here with Henry Rollins here speaking to me, Nardwuar, Human Serviette. Because they have that song, Henry Rollins is No Fun, and they've been known to prank call Social Distortion using your name.
Well, I think Mike Ness would know I'd never call him without a real reason, so that doesn't worry me.
Well, apparently he's been fooled 3 times that it's you.
Well, maybe Mike will have to straighten me out someday in some parking lot somewhere in America.
Have you had problems with that? Like people just trying to hassle you? Like there's a new zine out called Stonegrass, and they talk about this girl from Washington, D.C. that says she had sex with you and that your cock is shaped like a soup can. Like this, or, another rumor, a soup can cock for Henry Rollins.
Last girl I fucked in D.C. was this idiotic stripper chick who called herself Aura. But I fucked her really good, so I don't...
Well, when you fuck somebody for 45 minutes straight without ejaculation, have you has in some of your books,
I've never been able to do that.
But I thought in one...
45 minutes?
You went 45 minutes or 35 without ejaculation.
Did I write that?
Yeah, you did.
Can you quote me on that?
Somewhere in the book, and Get in the Van, they were talking about that, was when you and Joe Cole were at this girl's house, and Joe Cole, in the morning, the girl left and she had some sticky stuff in her hair.
Oh yeah, that's when that girl, she all of a sudden got freaked out on me. It was the funniest thing, like I ran into her again a few years ago and she hit on me. I'm like, I remember you. No, we're not going there again. Yeah, I came in her hair and then went to the van and slept the rest of the time before we had to leave.
What sort of girl are you looking for? Like, you really like Amy Mann, don't you? Amy Mann and Demanda Gallus. Like, when you played Black Flag, played in Vancouver a few years ago, Amy Mann opened...
Why are you so stuck? How old are you?
How old do you want me to be?
How old are you?
Well, for all intents and purposes, I'm whatever age you want me to be, Henry. But I'm just curious, in
Are you able to tell me the truth, or...?
I am 30 years old, born July 5th, 1968.
So you're 30. So...
One of the first gigs I remember, not going to, but hearing about, was you guys playing at New York Theater, and that same night, Amy Mann opened up for Rick Springfield.
I went and saw the gig.
So what sort of woman are you looking for? Is it Amy Mann, Demanda Gallus?
Well, what my question to you is, why are you asking me about all this stuff from 13 years ago.
Because we're just working up here, because I was wondering...
You only have like 2 more questions until we're done, so you got to make it good. So pick the next 2 questions you're going to do, come up with them. So pick your 2 best shots, because we're not going to sit here and jack off all day.
Did you recently fire your band through email at all, Henry?
No.
Because I heard that you've hired a new band called Mother Superior.
No, I'm doing... No, remember, you're on your last question. Is that the one you want to ask?
No. Well, actually, how about we just run through this one here for a second? The Raw Power master tapes. We'll just, see which one. How about we just throw them in? You can put this in my ball cart for a second. How about I put this in yours? I'll put a whole bunch on the table, and you can pick the one you like. It can be like multiple choice, Sir Henry. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, here's the remaining questions for Henry Rollins. A fan gave you the master tapes for Iggy Pop's Raw Power. That, I think, was pretty bizarre. Which Thin Lizzy song do you like better? Running Back or more than, why would you like Running Back more than Southbound? In Punk Planet, you always talk about how like you lived in a shed, but Greg Ginn says it is the study. I was curious about that. We're curious about your SOA demos, if there's going to be released. I was also curious about the best way to bulk up, because the salad bars have now been like shut down in a lot of places because of the E. coli poisoning. And I was also wondering if you ever worked out with Rocky Erickson is all. And I'm also wondering what new tattoos you've got, Henry. And I'm also wondering if you get bigger, if it's a possibility that you'll be able to get more tattoos actually on your body. So those are the questions that are up there against Henry Rollins, because you say only have one question, and maybe you can perhaps pick the ones that you enjoy most, or I could recite them again to you, Henry Rollins, here in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Well, I think you got a lot of energy, and the fact that you put all that together, I got to respect the effort.
And it's Power Bar for you too.
No thanks.
Okay.
But I respect that you put in all the time, so I'll try and address some of it. The Raw Power tapes were stolen, and we recovered them for Iggy in Belgium. Rocky Erickson, I couldn't work out with Rocky Erickson. No plans to get any more tattoos. Let's see.
The Shed with Greg Ginn.
Well,
because it was in Punk Planet zine, actually, right here, where you can oh, sorry for touching you there, but right there it goes.
Pretty close to the goodies there.
It was. I'm sorry.
You're touching my soup can, buddy.
I'm sorry about that. Do you think the Monks will ever come out as a movie? Because I heard it was optioned as a movie, and you'd be great in that movie, Henry, don't you think?
I think you'd be really good in that movie, Nardwuar.
Maybe as Gary Berger doing Monk Stomp or something like that?
I think you could play any one of those guys. You have a certain charisma, which is undoubtable, no doubt. You have a lot of charisma. I like the character that you're playing. I like how you can turn it on and turn it off. It's cute. And your closing question.
Closing question. Fear. Were you there that night when they played on Saturday Night Live? Were you ever approached to do Saturday Night Live? You've been on the Dennis Miller Show tons of times.
Well, yes, actually.
Because how did Belushi? I was just curious because using your knowledge, how did using your sit on my face Stevie Nicks knowledge, how did Belushi hook up with Fear?
What kind of knowledge do I have?
The Rotters. That was an allusion to the Rotters.
You're not being disrespectful to me, are you?
No, I was using the Rotters record, Sit on My Face Stevie Nicks, which Tom Hollison of No Means No actually knows one of the guys. He's a big fan of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I get to answer the question, or do you want to just talk?
No, go ahead, Henry.
You just interview yourself. Belushi lined up Fear and Black Flag to play on Saturday Night Live, and I was in Los Angeles working on the Damaged record when my friends from Washington went up there to kind of disrupt the proceedings at SNL. And after Lorne Michaels saw what Fear did, they immediately canceled our slot on Saturday Night Live, so we never got a chance to go. But Belushi was a fan of ours, and he was a big supporter of both bands, especially Fear, but he liked us too. And he tried to get us on there because he had a lot of pull there, because him being who he is. But it was not to be.
And finally, Henry Rollins, what'd you like better, Boys Next Door, the movie by Penelope Furris, or Boys Next Door, the band, starring Nick Cave?
I prefer the band.
All right, well, keep on rocking your free world, Henry. Anything else you'd like to add to the people out there at all?
It was wonderful talking to you, and the next time we do an interview, I preferred if you flossed and brushed your teeth, because your breath is really intense.
Actually, I ate at McDonald's this morning. That's perhaps what's doing that.
Thank you for thinking of
Well, you like coffee, don't you? Does coffee help you poop at all? Henry, does coffee help you poop?
I have no idea.
Okay, and doot-doot-a-loot-doo. Henry? Doot-doot-a-loot-doo.